Hi, in this video, I'm going to talk about what you're doing wrong with your yearly goal and what to do instead. My name is Alessandra. For those who don't know me, I'm a seasoned tech entrepreneur who co-founded a pioneering climate tech and crypto company. And now I work with entrepreneurs, founders who are looking to build businesses they love without burning out. Let's get into today's video. I am such a big believer in setting goals because otherwise, if you don't know where you're going, how are you ever going to get there? I have been a self-helper reading books on how to set goals since probably I was 14 years old or even sooner. I have tried so many different methods. And while these tools and methods, like SMART goals, for example, have really helped me, uh, in the last couple decades, I think I've finally figured out what is the right way for me to set goals such that I feel empowered and like I'm actually making progress, but also not too held fast or clinging to my goal that I feel like I didn't do a good job. First, the question I have for you is what are the goals that you have for this year? Are kind of vague New Year's resolutions like I want to lose weight, I want to lose 15 pounds, or I want to raise X million in funding. We want to get X million in ARR. What are those New Year's resolutions or those goals that you have? The second question I'll ask of you is what do these goals represent for you? And the reason why I bring that up is because oftentimes people think about their goals in terms of this will make me achieve the thing that I want. They think the thing that they want is the X million in ARR, the funding that's closed. But really, all of that is just some hypothesized route or milestones needed to obtain some other goal. Usually, that other goal is a psychological one. It's an emotional one. It's one of fulfillment. So do you think that if you lost 15 pounds, you would feel better about it? Do you think that if you were to raise X million, let's say 5 million in Series A funding, that you would have the runway you needed for your business based off of the projections you have? And then because of that, that means that you feel good about yourself because you're doing a good job for your company as a CEO. You're leading your company towards the growth, the milestones that you set, especially when it comes to founders and entrepreneurs wanting to change the world or wanting to leave a mark on this world who are still, thinking through a framework of innovation, of challenging the status quo, of resourcefulness, of seeing where the gaps are. How can we improve this? Oftentimes there is an emotional attachment to their outcome or their dream being fulfilled through their business. So the business is a mechanism for enacting some type of change in the world. In the past, for me, with Nori, our climate tech, it was a carbon removal business. And we were highly focused, mission driven as a company, as a group, and the founders to act on climate change. How do we reverse the emissions, all the greenhouse gas emissions that society is emitting at large and allow us to address this existential crisis, which is climate change. There was a lot of, but if I'm completely honest about what my true drivers were intrinsically for myself as that, it was because I wanted to live a meaningful life, wanted to feel like what I was doing and the time I was spending on the things I was doing, purpose. And I also really love nature. So I really wanted to protect the environment that we live in, the planet that we live on, because I love it. I love experiencing outdoors. I love being outdoors. There's a reverence, there's something deeper in me that I hold nature in a space of reverence, of respect, of sacredness. And I want to protect her and serve her. Which, for those of you who haven't met me, there's a whole reason of how I got into coaching and how that ties in, but that's for another topic. Enough. So, to my point here is, as the example I just shared with my own personal experience, we had a carbon removal marketplace run on crypto. We had a lot of attention. We were growing, and people liked this integration of crypto and climate change because it was super exciting, right? Climate change is a big problem, and crypto has a lot of power potential to create frameworks that allow for decentralization of power of empowerment amongst people to make change and to do a positive change or negative change. And so within that story, people could look at that top layer. What is Nori? What is this business they're building? It's climate tech, carbon removal, marketplace run on crypto. It's the crypto to save the world, for example, right? That's one top level layer. So then I could go into the business part and say, okay, we need to raise X amount of capital because our runway is Y amounts, and we need to hire all these different people and roles so that we can meet our goals to scale carbon removal through our marketplace. Now, take that you could say are the operational goals, right? However, I want to dig a layer deeper. Why did we want to build this business in this way with all these operational goals? I'm going to challenge you to let go of those operational goals for now for the sake of this exercise, and instead think of what does achieving this business plan as I imagine this business and its impact, what do I get from that? It's almost like Eric Ries's 5 Whys from the Lean Startup, if I've read that book. The Lean Startup said whenever a bug happens in Lean Agile development, you ask why 5 times. Oh, the web page isn't working. Well, why is that? Oh, well, there was a loading error on the front. I don't know enough about this. This is a poor example for me to come up with to illustrate my point. But essentially, you would ask why 5 times every time you got the answer so that you got to the root cause of the problem. Because we obviously want to be solving the root cause and not the symptom of the issue, right? So same thing here. Why do you want to build the business that you have in your mind? I need you to get really clear about that. So again, I can do this from my own perspective as an example. For Nori, we had this business because I loved the planet, as I just described. I had a reverence for the planet and sacredness. I love being in nature. I find it healing. I find it connecting. It fills me up inside. And I love nature. I love the planet. I want to take care of it. I want to protect that for myself, for future generations, for my children. That is holy for me. That's a layer deep. Why is that holy for me? Because I find awe in nature. Because I find it a complete miracle that we're on this planet. And it brings me joy. Why does joy matter to me? You feel good, right? You see where I'm getting at is asking why, right? Now, looking at it from that high level can be really helpful to guide you. And you realize once you ask these questions enough, your core drivers are, I want to feel joy in my life. I want to feel like my life have meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. I want to protect the things that I love and care about, people, the environment, whatever that might be. Take those things and hold them true. I'm like, these are my goals. I want to feel joy. I want to protect the people and places that I love. I want to feel fulfillment in my life. Though, New Year's resolution. Those are the goals you should keep. And then let's think about it in terms of how do we uphold that, right? There are many ways to feel joy. There are many ways to feel fulfilled. But I know it's really hard. Some of you are probably like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to let go of my goal for raising X amount of money or having Y ARR in our business because those are my goals, and I promise it to the board. Sure, that's fine. You can have those operational goals, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about your well-being. Because again, I work with founders who are looking to build businesses they love without being burned out. So you as a person wholly are my focus. And I want to focus right now in this video, what are your goals for your life? And again, when you ask those questions, you're going to get down to those core drivers. And in my example, I gave 3 things: joy, fulfillment, and protecting the people and the places. And you can write those down on different pieces of paper and say, okay, when do I experience joy? For me, it's when I'm out in nature, when I'm dancing, I love being in my body. I have joy through deep conversations, etc. This video is not about me, but I'm giving you it. The second page that I have would be for fulfillment. How do I feel fulfilled? What brings me fulfillment? Write out all the things. In what scenarios, in what circumstances do you feel that end goal? Joy, fulfillment, love, connection. Write everything down and set aside like 10, 15 minutes for each page with the big letters on top. My goal is joy in life. Write every single thing that brings joy. Feel free to pause this video to do that work. You absolutely should do that. Now, I'm assuming you have actually done this exercise. You have clarified your core drivers, what you really want to experience in life, joy, love, happiness, fulfillment, whatever that might be. I'm assuming you've taken the time to write those in big letters at the top of each page, all the different ways in which you can experience that emotion. I want to remind you, the end goal that you have in life is to experience joy, right? And this is kind of love, whatever that might be. Look at those pages. You will see they're full of different activities, different experiences that help you to foster those feelings in your body. But my point here is get really clear the activities, the things, the habits, the experiences that help foster those feelings within you, those core drivers, those things that you're looking for from your life, and start focusing. What are the ones you want to do more of? So what we're doing now is instead of focusing on the outcome that you're looking to achieve, the weight loss, the ARR numbers that you have targeted, instead focus on like the feelings you're wanting to feel. And I'm doing something a little different here. It's a bit of a hybrid approach of two different philosophies. The first philosophy is something I see a lot in my work through meditation and with spiritual leaders. The feeling comes first. The emotion comes within your body first, and then outwardly it manifests. For example, meditation is a great modality for tuning in with the vibration abundance, of joy, of love. That language or that jargon may not make sense to you. I hope it doesn't turn you off, but understand that this is a school of thought, a spiritual belief of the feeling should be coming from within, and then outside everything will manifest based off of the vibration from within. I do believe that, and I hold that true, but I also like to balance it with the second part. And that second part is the beauty of being on this planet in this 3D or 4D realm, right? There's 3D dimensions, the fourth dimension being time. We are here in these material bodies on this planet. And it is nice to experience those things. Like, it is nice to fall in love. It is nice to feel strong in your body. It's all good when you close that round of funding and you're like, yes, we did it. We're going to last another 24 months. We're going to continue to work on our mission. It feels so good. And you have every right to want that. And it's a balance of these two things. And so I bring this up because I think typically what we see is a focus on the latter. Everything outside of you has to happen in order for you to feel good inside. And then I went deep into spiritual work where it was like everything can come from inside of you and nothing outside of you really matters, which from a spirit of enlightenment is absolutely true. I will not deny that. And it's much more empowering and freeing than this side where everything has to be perfect outside for you to feel inside. That is a recipe for disaster. However, I like the marriage of the two. I like where these two things cross and intersect and interplay, where you get to bring that energy into your life. You get to bring joy into your work, not because you're waiting for the funding to come so that you can be joyful so that your colleagues can enjoy a nice meeting with you. No, come to the meeting with the joy. As you're working on your business to hit the goals that you need to raise that money, let it be a cycle. You can start anywhere, but it's really hard to get unstuck from where you are when you're focused on everything outside of you. It's really easy to get unstuck by focusing on what's inside of you, clearing your mind through meditation, or doing those things on the pages you just wrote down. Whether it's dancing, for example. I really love dancing, yoga. Those things help me to feel joy and peace from inside. Then I get to bring that to my meeting and everything spirals from there, right? It's like a little bit of the chicken and the egg, but it's very hard to get things on the outside to make you feel perfectly inside, especially if you're close to it. And so I want to share a little bit of an experience I've had this past year. So in 2024, we are now at the beginning of 2025. Happy New Year to everybody. In 2024, I set goals in a really different way. And I usually set them in SMART goals, right? Like specific, measurable, achievable, reasonable, timely. And, sometimes my goals aren't really goals. They're like tasks I want to get done, like go to the dentist. Those things are easy to check off in your list. But also some of them are more specific, like these SMART goals or more aspirational. And I did in 2024 was kind of focus on things I wanted to bring more into my life, things I wanted to strengthen for myself. I wanted to feel more empowered as a woman in my feminine, but also bring that into my work and my career. So more of a balance between our traditional gender roles and then feminism. Like I'm still on that journey, but that was something I wrote down. I want to get into that feeling of empowerment and femininity, but also not lose sight of who I am as a person and the nature of the masculine of getting things done that I do through my work as an entrepreneur because I love that part of me. And what ended up happening was because that was a theme, a focus that I had for myself, I was able to explore things more freely with more fun. It allowed me to uncover things I didn't know that I needed to address along the way. For example, boundaries. I learned through this journey I am pretty bad or was pretty terrible at setting boundaries, of understanding what my boundaries were. This work started for me 2 years ago. But in the last year, because of my prior theme of wanting to like balance these two masculine and feminine energies and feel more empowered, I ended up discovering that a key aspect of that was knowing how to set boundaries, how to be very comfortable and secure and grounded. And this is my need. These are my spaces. These are the things I will accept or not allow in my life and let things go that don't serve me. This sounds very meta, but let me give another example, something more concrete for my more masculine entrepreneurs, which many of my clients are. Let's say you are wanting to raise your first Series A round, let's say it's 10 million, reaching out to 300 investors. Some of them know your seed round, some of them are new. You're thinking, I'm going to reach out to 10 a week and I have 5 calls every week, whatever those metrics might look like for you. And all of that is because you're trying to raise 10 million for your Series A round, right? And then you might have it in your mind that you need to speak to 30 different investors and get 5 of them on your list. And it might turn out that you meet 2 investors who completely close out your round. So it's not to say don't have those numbers. It's not to say don't have those milestones. It's to say have an understanding that the things that you set out are purely guideposts to what you're wanting to achieve, and that it's not going to manifest or unfold exactly how you see it. So now this gets me to my final point, which is the most important thing that you can do to achieve the goals that you want to achieve is to show up and act in accordance to those goals. So if we thought about it from the high level perspective of speaking earlier about the business, here's the business goals that we have and the operational goals we want to achieve. It would be making sure you're doing your 20 outreaches a day to all those investors and setting those goals daily and saying, look, I'm not going to hold tight to what the outcome is of this, but I've got a sense of the numbers, of the skill and the behaviors, the actions I need to take in order to eventually reach this goal, right? Make your goals more focused on the behaviors that you have as opposed to the total outcome. So that's from an operational standpoint. Now, from a deeper personal drive standpoint, which is my favorite part, is looking at the pages that I mentioned earlier with the exercise of what are the activities, the senses, the emotions you're wanting to feel, joy, love, connection. What are those habits, those things you can highlight? Maybe there's one activity that shows up multiple times across all those pages. Let's use the example of dancing for me. What if dancing showed up on every single one of my pages? It helped me to feel joy. It helped me to feel connected. It helped me to feel alive. It helped me to feel fulfilled. But that means I need to find some time every day to dance. It could be in the morning when I wake up. It could be as I'm winding down for bedtime while I'm brushing my teeth. That will help bring in the core thing I'm actually wanting, which is joy in life. Simple example. And if you do this, if you focus on these little things and adopt habits, make commitment, I'm going to dance 5 minutes every day, or I'm going to meditate 5 minutes every day, or I'm going to make sure I call my mom once a week. Whatever it is that you're seeing on those pages, find those habits. The more that they occur on multiple pages, the better. Make a commitment. I'm going to do this thing X amount of times throughout the year, and then hold yourself accountable. So that's all I have for this video. I know it was a little bit strange of a video because I was going from the very tangible operational goals to the more abstract personal self-fulfillment goals, but that's what you're here for. That's what I love. I love mixing the two together. I hope you found this helpful and insightful. If you did, please like this video. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. That would be really helpful to me. Feel free to send me a comment or a message. to let me know what kind of content you want to hear more about, what you found useful, any thoughts that you have to share, any insights. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you're feeling stuck in your business, feeling like you're dealing with burnout on the way to burnout and don't know how to go past that, there's a link in the description below that you can click. It's nothing fancy. It's just some information on how I work with founders and entrepreneurs like you to get beyond this burnout, get more centered and empowered. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.